Haffaday or hello. I will be comparing China and the United States energy consumption, population, and renewable energy resources. My name is Tori Manley. You can find me on social media at Curry and Sleeve a Barefoot Tori, or you can find me professionally on LinkedIn as Victoria Manley. All right, this is my research question. On the left side of my slide, I have the research question. Does population growth mean the reduction or increase in sustainable energy production between China and the US? Directly below is my question in symbol form. My alternative hypothesis is the average sustainable energy source between China and the US does not increase as the populations from both countries increase, meaning the amount of average sustainable energy growth declined or it stayed the same as the population increased. The claim that I'm trying to prove states the average sustainable energy source from China and the United States increases as the population from both countries increase. Methods of collecting data. I've collected the total population for both countries between 2000 and 2018 to compare with mixed source energy consumption and sustainable energy consumption. Much of the data was found in government statistic websites. For China, I had to use something called worldbank.org for 2016 to 2020. Even though we are not including 2018 to 2020, their statistical yearbook for the population that I needed only published from 2000 to 2015, and it could be found right here. The rest of the information I obtained from these areas, data.gov and Our World in Data. Much of the data was already in these government websites, but I did have to change the unit of measurement from some of the websites from British empirical units to terawatts an hour. Continuing methods, I have referred to this graph that I've compiled together between the data on China and the United States. This data table was the basis of a significant sum of my information. There we go, delicious and descriptive data. These two charts have been found on data.gov and has been a prime source in my study. The colors shown for each energy source is as follows if you cannot see it from your screen. Green represents other renewable energy sources, orange is for solar, pink is for wind, blue is for hydropower, purple is for nuclear energy, and for the purpose of this study, I did not include nuclear energy as a renewable source of energy. To continue, brown is oil, red is gas, and gray is coal, and we are focusing on the areas 2000 to 2018. Although China's renewable energy consumption is increasing, the country is still heavily reliant on coal. Their energy production for hydropower has increased dramatically. Hydropower makes up 64% of their renewable energy source in China. Renewable energy makes up 12% of all energy resources in China that is renewable as of 2018. And America's renewable energy consumption has not dramatically increased compared to China, and we still heavily rely on gas and coal. America's largest sum of energy is nuclear energy, but I've said before, I have not counted that in this study. The next biggest renewable energy source is hydropower. Hydropower makes up 29% of all renewable energy sources in the United States. Renewable energy makes up only 8% of energy sources as of 2018. I'm sorry, this thing's... And this is the population of China and the US. China's population has remained steady from 2000 to 2018, with the population at 100 million people on average. The United States population has remained steady with 2 population increase events in 2007 and 2012. The average population from 2000 to 2020 is approximately 500 million people. The United States renewable energy source has plateaued with the exception of 2004 renewable energy source decline. Both countries have an equal birth and death rate, so the population has not increased or decreased exponentially. There we go. China and USA comparison of energy consumption from 2000 to 2019, upper and lower limits. The red represents the USA and China is the blue. And the primary energy consumption is measured in terawatts an hour. All right, just to go back to my question, as the population each country increases, does their renewable energy increase as well? This is the results of my hypothesis test. I found the values for each of these functions, and the small values mean that it is highly unlikely for China and the United States for the population size to contribute to the energy production of renewable energy sources. For both countries, it is highly unlikely that the population was a factor. All right. In conclusion, my null hypothesis, the average sustainable energy source between China and the US, increases as the population from both countries increase. I had to reject the null hypothesis and base the p-value of energy consumption between China and the US. I've already found some evidence of coal, gas, and oil being significantly higher sources of energy rather than renewable energy, as I have found and presented to you on data.gov. I have found significant levels for China and the US, which would be 5% of the total mean of consumed energy in total between 2000 and 2019. There is evidence that the consumption of coal, gas, and oil is higher than renewable energy. I learned a lot about how to answer my questions based on statistics. My research question was rejected. I discovered that China's population has remained steady, with the average population being around 1,200 million people. The renewable energy source has increased, but it has not increased dramatically. I lost my script. All right, so what I found is the average sustainable energy source between China and the US increases as the population from both countries increase. I had to reject the null hypothesis. And for China, the population remained the same and the renewable source of energy went up. And for the United States, both the population and the renewable energy source remained flat. All right, if you have any questions for me, I have my email address at vmanley20@unity.edu. You also have my LinkedIn, you have my Instagram, and we have a Microsoft class chat called PieChartStat. Thank you so much. I hoped this made sense to you guys, and happy final week of class.